Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Simply Living PEI. So it's been a busy few days, and yeah, that poor garden, we are having a hard time keeping up, to be honest, but we are finally producing. Thought I would show you what was going on, and we're gonna go and harvest some mint today too. So we've got all that wild American mint. Might as well dry some out and make some tea. But let me show you what's been going on actually in our little kitchen garden here, okay? First thing I want to show you. You ever seen a radish flower? These are the last of those original radishes here. Decided to let them go to seed. Let's see what happens. But also one of the tomatoes that Fred, he's cultivated this thing since last year, but it's actually starting to grow tomatoes. Can you believe that? And we have been harvesting some of our lettuce. I did plant some more radishes in here, so we've got a couple. And we started one more kitchen tray. We did put in that roller lettuce stuff. We'll see if it grows. No harm in trying. And we have already got some of the parsley cut ready for the dehydrator. And that pot that I couldn't figure out what was in there, I moved a few of the white turnips in. A couple of them, I mean, they struggled a bit, but they went through fine. And as you can see, we have been harvesting and harvesting radishes. So happy. And then that cucumber seedling that we got from, I think it was on clearance, he's actually growing pretty good. And then the two seeds that we planted that I thought had been eaten, those stupid things have come up. So the kitchen garden's coming along great, guys, except the carrots. Something keeps eating my carrots, and I think he's that chipmunk. But we did plant that coriander together, so it's slowly coming up. We planted more radishes, and you will notice these are my white onions. Let's talk about the white onions, shall we? Yeah, so every single onion seedling we planted out in the garden died. All of them. We watered them, we don't know what. We found quite a few yanked out. We have a vole back there, as we have talked about, because I lost a couple of beefsteaks. I think I've lost 6 now. And we think the vole has gotten to the onion seedlings. Now the onion sets, the red and white onions that we planted, the little ones, those things are huge. They're beautiful. So this package right here of these white onion seedlings, we are going to go and get another portable garden bed, and we're going to leave them here on the deck and hope that they grow. But anyway, the last thing is these guys. Woohoo! These are those couple of salad tomatoes that we got on clearance at the big box store. And there's actually tomatoes. Check it out. Little tiny tomatoes. Can you see those? Probably not. There you go. So we have tomatoes. So that makes me happy. Anyway, this really kind of goes against everything that we were talking about today. Let's go get some mint. We'll make some mint tea this winter. So this may look like a ton of weeds, but all of that, except for some of them, is mint. Let's get some mint cut. Now there is actually so much mint out in that garden that I am really going to have to seriously figure out what I'm going to do with it and how to get it under control. You can't even tell there's an aisle way there at all. But we did end up with 2 full jars of dried mint for tea, which is fabulous. And then of course you can use it for cooking. You can put it in your soups, your salads, anything you want. Dried vegetables, dried herbs, just as good. Take full advantage, especially in the wintertime. If you've got the advantage of using a dehydrator, get some of this stuff put away. But like I said, I ended up with about 2 full jars, and I think I'll probably dry quite a bit of this stuff and take it with me when I go visit Mother at the end of the month. Mom, I really hope you like mint tea. Alrighty, so that is bowl number 2. Let me fix that. So, you heard me mention volunteer tomatoes. We found some more. They may be Romas, they may be beefsteaks. We have no idea. But it doesn't even look like we made a dent in that batch of mint, does it? That's all right. And apparently today, Fred found some more volunteer tomatoes back by the compost pile. So I guess we're going to be transplanting some tomatoes. But I have noticed that a couple of our tomatoes are ready to be tied up. See him right there? Now we don't have a ton of cages, so what we've done is we're going to stake these bigger tomatoes and we're going to just basically twine them up and trellising without a trellis. We'll see what happens. But let's go get this next batch of mint in the dehydrator and I'll show you how that works. So guys, this is my old dehydrator. This thing is a Value Village special. So we've had this thing for so long now, it's crazy. But that's that last little bit of parsley that I just didn't trim off. This is our second batch. So what I did is I just washed the mint. Now, when you're using a manual dehydrator like this guy, you do have to be careful because you can easily burn your herbs. It literally takes maybe not even an hour. Now, the other thing you do have to make sure when you use a manual one is that you rotate the trays. So I tend to take the whole stack off and then I basically flip-flop it. So the top one goes to the bottom. And then a little while later on, I'll go in and just kind of move them around or spin them depending on how well they're drying. Now, when I cut these, I'm not taking them right apart, see? I just cut off the younger tops on as many as I could get. That way they're all in one piece. Like, that's a big one. But to be honest, I'm not going to lose it in my dehydrator. Which for me, I've dropped parsley right down the middle when I did that first batch. So annoyed me. But you spread them out, isn't it? See, there you go. I just dropped some mint. You spread them out in an even layer. Rescue him. Or as even as you can get. Now, when you're drying things like vegetables or fruit, they actually say try not to have them touch. But when you're doing herbs, you really kind of have no choice. Alrighty, next tray. Now I actually, now that I know I have it, I mean, I like mint tea, but most of the mint tea that you can get is peppermint. I'm not a huge peppermint fan. And I don't know if you know the difference, like, but American mint to me, it's kind of like a mix of peppermint and spearmint. I remember my mother, when she used to blanch and freeze peas, we had mint in the garden. And she was actually putting the mint in with the peas. And I just remember the flavor. And now I'm thinking, I have all this mint. I can do that. All right. I got a few leaves left, and I know this bottom one isn't as filled. So I'm going to put these guys in here. There we go. I used all the trays for the first run. So we're one tray down. All right, let me plug this guy in. I decided to leave the plastic on Grandma's table here because we are still using it. Let me tilt you up. All right, so big dining room, still not done, to be honest. Outside does take precedence, but this is what we did. Batch number 1. You ready? Look at that. 1 full jar of mint. Now the neat thing is the dried parsley. I love the color of the dried parsley. We don't have a lot of parsley yet, but the parsley in the garden is growing. If I'm lucky, I'll have a few massive jars. So I'll come back and I'll actually show you this one when it's done, because I kind of didn't show you the first one. Sorry. We'll be back. Okay, so I'm gonna head outside and we'll take a look at those volunteer tomatoes that Fred found. And there's another plant back there that kind of looks like nasturtium. So I've got my plant identification app on the phone. So let's go take a look and see what these other plants actually are. So we actually found more tomatoes on the compost pile than we expected as well. So let's go take a look. Well, forgive the messy compost pile, guys, but this is the plant in question, and it turns out it is a whole bunch of cantaloupe. Oh my gosh, that word completely left my head. It is a whole mess of cantaloupes. Cantaloupe. So best we can figure is we had one cantaloupe that we had found underneath leaves last year, and it was bad. So we put it in the compost. Ooh, sorry, bee. And well, apparently, get away now. Apparently the compost really loved that cantaloupe, because now we have a mass of little cantaloupe. Now, we're not going to try and take it apart. Since the other melons died, we're going to go in and basically dig a hole and take that out in one massive clump. We'll see what happens. You can play in your garden all you want. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work out that way. Well, guys, the whole house smells phenomenal. Now, I forgot to bring you with me when I did the first rotate. So now we're going to be putting these middle racks on the bottom. And like I said earlier, a manual one, you do have to rotate the trays, but also rotate the trays. As you can see, I do have a hot spot on mine, which I talked about earlier. Got one little one that I dropped. Okay, let's turn these around. Oh, this guy goes next. This guy goes next. There we go. Oops, this guy goes on the top. So these have been going for 2 hours, I think. Be about another hour. So, but the house is smelling awfully minty. Well, guys, that looks to be about all we're doing today. We have a line of thunderstorms coming, and apparently another one right behind it. So Fred has to be up and gone for work by midnight, so I am just going to get that last load of mint tea out and hope the power doesn't go out. So the storm has definitely put the day on hold. It hasn't quite hit this side of the house yet. It's awfully dark still on the other side. So what we had done is I was going to show you what we had done with the cantaloupe, but that just didn't work out as planned because Mother Nature decided she just wanted to water everything. Make my life easy. Now the cantaloupe, when we pulled it out, it didn't all come out in one big clump. So we ended up with 3 little clumps, and it turned out there was a little cucumber beside it. Now, I've got that cool little app on my phone. What I'll do is I'll link it down below so you can see. Basically, you take a picture and it tells you what the plant is. It has been phenomenal to tell me what's good, what's bad, what's a weed, what's a veggie, you know, all the great stuff. So I'll link that for you down below. Got Freddie's dinner made. He has to go to work. He has to be there for 1 in the morning. Gotta love construction. But a ship's coming in, so the poor boy's going to work. So he's upstairs trying to sleep, and I'm down here talking to you guys. Anyway, I'm going to make my own dinner. And I guess we're buttoning it up for the day. So go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe button. Leave me a comment. Leave me some advice. Oh. Anything is helpful, actually, in this garden that is getting away from us a little bit. But I do have to admit, it looks so much better than last year. So if you saw my little personal videos, just switching arms here, guys. If you saw any of my little personal videos, you will know that my garden looks so much better. So like I said, go ahead, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and come on along with us, okay? Come with us while we do this Simpler Life on PEI. Till next time.